What is the one-to-one angle? When previously I talked about the most basic approach to charting, I left you with this old chart. Let's pick it up from there and take it to the next step. Welcome back, my name is Stephen Hollander and let's carry on asking the right questions here. Are you able to identify the one-to-one angle? As I like to ask, what would Gann do? We already know that everything he did was based on numbers and calculations. It is very clear when you look at this chart. I believe that once you understand the basics and you know where you want to go, there can be a lot to learn by looking at these old charts. But let's see that next step. What would he do today? I've reproduced a part of this chart on the computer. I've used Google Sheets because it's free to use. You can just copy the same steps, create this chart and see there is nothing hidden here. Obviously I won't stop you from doing this little exercise on paper if you prefer, because fair enough, charting programs are not very well made up for Gann analysis. I even encourage you to practice that until you understand what you are doing. Now what you see here are actually two charts laid on top of each other. This relates to what I have already explained. If Gann used overlays as a shortcut to create his charts, this is how he had to make sure they were both on the same scale so he could match and align them. On the other hand, Google Sheets are not yet capable of combining candlestick charts with anything else, so this is the best we can do. In case you are curious, yes, it can be done in Excel. You can combine stock charts with other data. It is still not as straightforward as it looks, you'll have to do your own research, but you can create a candlestick chart based on your normal OHLC values. Then you can just add more data to the so-called plot area of your chart as usual. So when I ask that question, what would Gann do? I don't just use it in a rhetorical sense to catch attention. Imagine if he had all these tools at his disposal. We just have to follow his line of thought. But at the moment, let's go back to our paper-based chart, because it's not the tools that make the difference. Once you understand the approach, you will not get confused by the tools. You can use anything you wish. Now let me just sidetrack a little bit here and tell you what caused me the biggest problem, because you might think it's pointless to talk about such a simple thing like literally 1 + 1. So my issue was this. It took me a long time to realize that these, the 1-to-1 and the 45 degrees, are not related in such a way. He did this to keep everything under control, because when the paper-based chart gets huge, it is really hard to see what's going on. I have already explained this issue to you when I talked about scaling. I remember I came across a Gann trading course which was selling for thousands of dollars and they couldn't even do this one angle properly. And then we also have the problem that we don't see the timeline when looking back on a chart like this. We see the full chart, but we don't see how it developed. So let's return to it. For the sake of simplicity, as you have just seen, we are talking about these angles here. How do we know something is a 1-to-1 angle? What is a 1-to-1 angle? It's a bit hard to see, but this angle originates in 239, and we can also see that Gann referenced this origin separately. It is for the reason that he could easily look it up in the future and identify where the price is on a given day. Clearly, he developed this count as the chart progressed. So, if it's the 1-to-1 angle, it means you add 1 to it on every consecutive bar, and 4 counts later, the price needs to be 243 on this angle. If you do your counts, you can see it is exactly the case. I will leave you the other angle. And again, never forget, this was all in retrospect, looking back. How it unfolded in real time is a different matter. Thank you for watching, and if you liked it, please follow my channel.